Morning again, how are you? Welcome back to our read alouds. It's Thursday. I wanted to try something new today. I'm going to have you do some visualizing because the book I'm about to read to you, or the children's book I'm going to try to read to you, doesn't have any images yet. And we're not sure if it ever will have any images. With a little luck it might. It's something that I wrote a few years back. Some of you guys know that I've written some nonfiction books on the sport of swimming, and now I'm trying to get a children's book published, which is easier said than done. And if it doesn't happen, it doesn't, but it's something that I'm working toward. And because I'm not an illustrator in any way, and all of you guys know that I can't even do a stick figure, that if this thing gets picked up one day, they would assign an illustrator to the book. But I at least wanted to share the text with you, and I hope the message is a good one too. Okay, so here we go. And right now, let's just call it, all I do is call it Billy the Beaver. All right. Bucky the Beaver was the most famous swimmer in his animal family, and his little brother, Billy, followed him everywhere. Billy carried Bucky's goggles and his lucky yellow tail and cheered him on louder than anyone. When Bucky won all his races at the Beaver Olympics, Billy jumped up and down yelling to his friends, "That's my big brother." At night, Billy dreamed of a time when he would be patted on the back, asked for his autograph, and be as famous as his older brother. He wanted to be a champion swimmer too. More than anything, Billy couldn't wait for Bucky to turn to him and say, "Way to go, little guy. I'm so proud of you." As Billy got older, he worked hard to be as good a swimmer as his brother. He swam back and forth in the river, hoping to get faster and faster. Other beavers, young and old, asked him, "Are you going to be like Bucky?" Billy always excitedly answered, "Yes." Wearing his brother's old goggles and practicing in the same water where Bucky became a great swimmer, Billy kept working hard. But he didn't see the big improvements he saw when he was younger. When people asked him if he was going to be as successful as his brother, Billy had a different answer. Maybe. One day, Billy just couldn't get any faster. Sometimes he went slower than the year before. It was very frustrating because Billy had bigger dreams when he first started to swim. And when people asked Billy if he was going to be as good as Bucky, he didn't answer anymore. He just shrugged his shoulders and walked away with his head down. Finally, Billy stopped swimming in races. He didn't like the water at all, which was really hard for a beaver. Every day, he had a frown on his face. Other beavers tried to cheer him up, but Billy didn't listen. All he thought about was not being as good as Bucky and not getting the chance to swim in the Beaver Olympics. That was his dream. Billy's parents tried to talk with him every day. Mama Beaver told him there were a lot of other things he could do. Papa Beaver said he had to feel better about himself or he would get sick. Billy didn't listen. He didn't want to hear from anyone. After many years of traveling around the world and racing in front of millions, Bucky retired from racing and moved back home to be closer to his family. Right away, he saw Billy was always sad and wasting his days. Bucky told Billy he could be great at other things, but he had to stop pouting. He told Billy it was important to be positive. One thing he said got Billy's attention. "Little brother, the way you're acting is not making me proud. There were a lot of times when I wanted to give up, but I never did. If I gave up after losing races when I was younger, I wouldn't have achieved what I did. It's time for you to change." It was hard for Billy to hear the disappointment in his big brother, so he decided to go for a walk around the woods. He needed some time to think. While he was walking, Billy saw some young beavers in the water racing against each other. As he was watching, Billy noticed that some of the beavers could go faster if they adjusted how they were swimming. Billy walked over to the little beavers and said, "Can I show you a few things?" The little beavers nodded, and Billy got in the water with them. He showed them better technique and how moving their tail a different way let them go faster. Without knowing it, Billy was coaching. The little beavers listened closely and were excited to have someone help. After his first day of coaching, Billy told the little beavers he would meet them the next day and they could work together again. Billy was smiling, and it was the first time he smiled in a long time. He couldn't wait for the sun to rise. Days, weeks, and months went by, and Billy was dedicated to his new love, coaching. He saw the youngsters he worked with get better and enjoy swimming more and more. Even more beavers joined his team and started practicing. But Billy made sure one thing was most important. Everyone had fun. After all, Billy was having a great time, and his life was much better than when he was sad and frustrated. Billy just didn't teach swimming either. He talked to the little Beavers about rooting for their teammates, always working hard, and being on time to practice. He wanted to teach lessons about life and use what he had been through to make others understand that if one thing doesn't work out, there's always something else to try. One of Billy's swim students, Benny, got better and better because of his practice and the help of his coach. Benny became a champion swimmer in junior races. As he got older, he started to become a champion of all ages and even came close to breaking some of Bucky's records. Billy made sure Benny stayed calm and didn't get caught up in all the attention. He wanted Benny to be a champion that little Beavers could look up to. 12 years after Bucky won gold medals at the Beaver Olympics, Benny won gold medals of his own. He became famous too and was interviewed on television. During one of the interviews, Benny made sure he thanked his coach. "I owe everything to Billy," Benny said. "He took the time to make me better, but he also taught me about chasing your dreams and never giving up, even if some things don't go your way." The night Benny said those words, Billy was watching the TV show in his hometown with Bucky. When Benny's interview was over, Bucky turned to his little brother and put his arm around him. "I want to tell you something, Billy. You might not have reached your first goal of being a great champion swimmer, but you have made a big impact on other Beavers. You taught them to never give up and to chase their dreams, and that's just as important as winning lots of medals. Little brother, I'm so proud of you." And that is the story Billy the Beaver that I came up with a few years back and have done a lot of work on, and we're going to keep working on it, and we'll see whatever comes out. But I just wanted to share that with you guys. Something a little different in the future here. I'm going to ask that if anybody wants to submit something that they want read during our read alouds, that they can, and then we'll put a day aside each week where I can read some McGinn student read alouds. This was an idea of Mrs. Falcone, whose son Nate is in 4th grade, and Mrs. Falcone has been with me as a volunteer in the library for many years now, and she'll be moving on because Nate's going to middle school, and I miss her a ton. But she's always has these great ideas. She runs the Little Dragons. She runs the Little Dragons Writing Club, and is just amazing at the work that she does with students. And I just think she's just an amazing person, and I thank her for the idea of giving the students a chance to share their work. So if you want to, let me know, and I'll read something out. And I hope you have an awesome day, McGinn. Take care.